So it's Ghana versus South Africa again. According to South Africans, our foreign minister, he is trying to insert himself in a matter that they've not called him. So South Africans are coming for Honorable Okudzeto. What did he do? What is the matter? That is why I like to see it, to give you all the KE city. So, you know, the entire incident started about 2 days ago. About 2 days ago, there was a communique flying all over the internet that the South African government, through the Home Affairs Director, Mr. Makode, I am just a Ghanaian, is asking for a return. What is the return? The return is that during the repatriation process, the South African government actually used some money to help some countries to repatriate their citizens from South Africa. After the citizens were attacked, they were leaving the country, the South African government helped them, some of them with buses, some of them with money, any other materials that helped the foreigners to leave the country. So the South African government has written to some foreign citizens' governments to bring all those monies back. They are asking for a return.
We have also written to the government of Malawi and, of course, the embassies of Nigeria and Ethiopia requesting reimbursements of this cost through the Department of DERCO. And we are anticipating responses from those governments. And the Director of Home Affairs of South Africa was very specific with the countries that they are demanding their return from. He mentioned Malawi, he mentioned Ethiopia, he mentioned Nigeria. That Nigeria, Malawi, Ethiopia, they are supposed to pay South Africa for helping them repatriate their citizens. Right? Now, they said that the amount of money they are demanding is around 300 million rand, which is about $18.5 million. This is the amount of money they are demanding from these countries.
The government says it has spent nearly $18 million accommodating and transporting migrants who were deported or voluntarily returned home. Officials say Malawi, Ethiopia and Nigeria have been formally asked to reimburse some of those costs.
Now, this is why South Africans are dragging on Abu Okudzeto. If we paid attention to what the Director of Foreign Affairs of South Africa said, he said it directly, mentioned the names of the countries that they are asking repatriation from, the countries that are supposed to pay South Africans. They did not mention Ghana. But you know, Honorable Okudzeto today released an entire press addressing the fact that South Africans are demanding some money from some African countries because they help them repatriate their citizens. And they want to state it unequivocally that they are not part. Ghana is not part. South Africans are saying that we didn't even mention your name in the first place. So this was the letter. The letter says that the government of Ghana has taken notice of media publications indicating that the government of South Africa is requesting reimbursements amounting to $18 million from a number of African countries. This is from Honorable Okudzeto. For the support and facilitation extended by the South African government in the evacuation of fellow Africans out of their country. So they've seen that that is what the South African government is saying. They are demanding their money back. And they want to state it equivocally. The Home Affairs wishes to state for the record in unequivocal terms that the evacuation of all compatriots was fully funded by the government of Ghana and our Ghanaian partners. This is what Honorable Okudzeto wrote. He went ahead to say that for the avoidance of doubt, Ghana did not seek any financial or material support from the South African government to bring our fellow nationals back home. So the entire letter was addressing the fact that Ghana did not take any help from South Africans. Therefore, they do not expect to pay anything to South Africans. That is when some people went under this particular post and said that Honorable Okudzeto. We didn't even mention Ghana's name. In fact, our director went on air in conversations and said that Ethiopia, Nigeria, and then Malawi. We didn't even mention Ghana. So why are you talking about the fact that Ghana stated unequivocally that we are not part and all that? Ghanaians can therefore be assured that under no circumstances will Ghana be listed among the countries. They didn't even list us already. South Africans are saying that they did not even list us already. So writing a formal letter to address the fact that Ghana will not be listed, according to them, sorry to say, was not necessary. But talking about the seriousness of the entire thing, maybe, you know, Ghana has always been like Kwame Nkrumah. Ghana do not speak for just Ghana, right? In every matter, Ghana wants to be for Africans. If you listen to the address very well, it was more or less like emphasizing on the fact that South Africans are demanding money from some African countries for sacking their citizens from their country. That is literally what it means. There is this South African professor that teaches in South Africa, I think one particular university. He was invited as a resource person to speak on this matter about the fact that South Africa is demanding money from countries that they help repatriate their citizens on a radio talk called Cape Talk. I would want us to listen to some of the things that he said, that it is totally unnecessary. The loss has already, the doom has already been done. It is not necessary for South Africans to demand 300 million rand for helping other fellow Africans repatriate their citizens back to their countries, even after attacking them. Let's listen to him.
I think that there's multiple issues here. I guess the bigger issue for me is whether this is something that is ultimately good for South Africa. And of course, getting money is good, but the diplomatic fallout of this and what the message it sends, it's saying, look, our citizens rose up, pushed people out of the country, people fled, they're being deported, and now we want you to pay for it. It's like knocking someone down and then kicking them. I think that South Africa is already suffering because of what happened with March on March. We're seeing that in the economy, we're seeing that in terms of jobs, schools, and other things. And this is not the way to repair. One of Ramaphosa's 5 points was to send people to other places to try to build and rebuild that trust with the neighbors. And this is just undermining that completely.
So what should we be doing instead?
Well, I think this is South Africa deciding to enforce its laws in the way that it chooses. That is something that a state does. If they have a prior agreement with these states that they will share these expenses, so be it. But I think what we're seeing is that as South Africa escalates law enforcement, etc., these things come at a cost. They come at the sort of direct costs of the policing, of the deportation, and the sort of indirect cost to the economy of destabilizing, shifting the labor markets, etc. So if this is a choice that South Africa and the government wishes to make in the name of the South African people, it is something that the South African people will also need to pay for.
But you know, on this particular matter, right, I get the fact that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is doing so well. In fact, Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa must be commended. So far, we have 1,600 Ghanaians back home. I recommend him on that. But with this particular issue, I feel like Ghana was exempted. So we should have just exempted ourselves from the entire situation. That's what I think. But leave what you think in the comment section. This is Gossip 24. And the room is bright because my name is Light. Bye.